How are you, Armani?
I'm doing good, Larry. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just want to thank you for having the time for us. So I'm so
Yeah,
excited. I'm actually excited. I'm actually hyped.
same here, same here.
Well, guys, we're here with Armani Williams, 23-year-old professional race car driver. Just a little bit about me, Armani, the interviewer. I own an agency called Behavioral Autism Therapies. And we started Special Needs Coffee to give kids and adults the opportunity to have what we consider just a normal life, just like working at Starbucks, you know, and, we're trying to, really make the world understand that autism is not a disability. It
Yeah,
is not a disability. We got some individuals with autism that are doing amazing things. I think when autism was first introduced, it really depicted, such um, a different side of autism that I believe a lot of the society didn't really know. It depicted such some of our lower functioning, some of our, heavily impacted kids, but not some of our kids that are not, and that are really just like everyone else. Of course, everyone has a little bit of challenges. I can't say the world is made perfectly,
yeah,
you know, but
absolutely.
I think the depiction of autism has to be done differently. And you, and others, I hope can help us really continue to show the world that we're just like kids and adults with autism are just like everyone else. We just at times misunderstood, in some ways. So I wanted to see before we get started to make sure that we're on the same page on who I am, making sure you're comfortable, making sure that we're just here to really continuously promote you and the autism community because you are, right now changing the what I consider that script of what autism used to be, and this is what autism is. I mean, we have so many great depictions, but you're a real life depiction of the goods. I know you have some really greats but I know you probably had some bads, through this experience too. You know,
Yeah,
so share with us.
yeah. I mean, I will say, it's just, like just like everybody else in this world, you'll have your goods and you'll have some bads, and at least living through autism, it was no different. It was just there was just a certain level of uncertainty of what I would become, what exactly did I want to do in life, because like you said, a lot of times autism can be misunderstood by a lot of people, so to me, I just had to understand what my challenges were and figure out how I could overcome it. So that way I can try to open myself into the type of person I want to be and sort of show my personality with something that I have a love and passion to do, which is, race car driving. I think, just finding a love for racing, really helped gave me a path forward that I could continue on.
So tell me, how did you become passionate about race car driving? You know,
Yeah, so it all started when I was a very young kid. Like, at first, I loved cars. Like, I would get every Matchbox and Hot Wheel car that I could find at the store and just bring them home and just play with them, whether I was at my mom's or whether I was at my dad's or my grandparents, and I got this gift that I don't know if I got it for my birthday or Christmas, but it was a Kerbush diecast car. It had like Superman on it, and I don't know. It always just seemed like, that was just the beginning of something. That's when I heard about NASCAR, and I found it interesting enough that I wanted to see what it was all about. And the first race that I ever watched on TV, I was blown away. Like I was amazed at how fast those cars were going, like 180, 190 miles per hour. Like I've never seen anything move so fast. And so, I was hooked on NASCAR right away, and I would just watch it every weekend that it was on. And the more I watched it, the more that I thought to myself, you know what? This is something that I wanted to do. Now I finally have something that I have a love and passion for, which is race car driving, that I just wanted to become a part of. And so I started racing when I was 8 years old in the go-karting division, then moved my way up to racing late models, won 18 races and won a couple of championships along the way, had great success. And then I moved up to more faster cars, much heavier cars in the ARCA Truck Pro Series, where we raced around the Midwest. And at least like during that year and then the next year, I was invited to one of NASCAR's Drive for Diversity combines, and that was the type of recognition that I needed, because it helped give me a jump to NASCAR. Like NASCAR saw the potential in me, and so they decided to bring me up. But interesting enough, they decided to put me in a series that they have up in Canada called the NASCAR Pinty Series. So now I'm racing against the best Canadian drivers they have to offer. And, it really taught me a whole lot of just how to be a pro on the track, what things you have to do to help prepare yourself for a race off the track, and so it was a lot of fun, and it definitely, I had to learn a lot, and took all that with me coming back, still racing in NASCAR in the running several races in the ARCA East, ARCA West, and then moved my way up, made a couple starts in the ARCA Menards Pro Series at Phoenix and then Michigan. And right now I'm a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver. I've been in the series since 2021. And so, I'm just continuing to move up the ladder, hopefully to someday make it to my ultimate goal, which is to be in the NASCAR Cup Series, which is like the top level of NASCAR, So, being in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is just the first step towards achieving that goal.
I'm in awe of just, your process. I wanted to start from the beginning, if I can. It sounded like as you were really in the love of cars, you had to have somebody that was encouraging you, that did not stop you from that goal. And I would say your parents, people around you, your support cast, because I think that's another missing piece sometimes is maybe, yes, I do have a disability, but it didn't seem like your parents and your surrounding supporting system said, hey, just because he has autism doesn't mean he can't do what he loves to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you hit it right in the nail of the head. My parents were always very supportive of me. They understood the challenges I was going through with autism. They were just basically trying to help find things that would really get my attention, something that I would be interested in. And so, it came with cars and then racing. And then it's just like, like I was just waiting for an opportunity to just tell my parents that this is something that I wanted to do. But I didn't know how they would react to it. My family didn't come from a racing background. But my great-grandfather once owned an auto body shop in Detroit, and so I think just that connection alone with what I was trying to do with racing kind of gave them the confidence that, like, hey, this is something that I love to do. It's something I want to do for the rest of my life. And so, they went all in on it and try to support me, try to help me in every which way they can to help me achieve my dream, and it's just having a great support system is really what everybody needs if they want to accomplish anything in life. I know it seems like sometimes you can do things by yourself, but it just seems very, very difficult. There's a lot of steps to take, if you're trying to do it all on your own. And so you got to have people that, believe in you, that always encourage you, that they know that, you can achieve at the highest level. And they'll do everything that they can possibly can to help you achieve that. So I've just been very blessed and very fortunate to be able to have that with, the rest of my family. and just being able to share my love of racing to them, and now they enjoy it. So
I'm gonna enjoy it.
yeah.
When I see you race and others race, it just gives me just this really great inspiration that if you have the right support and you believe in yourself and the people around you believe in you, you can do anything. And what you're describing, and if you have the right support system, no matter if you have a disability or not, you can do anything. And it's just a really great accomplishment to see you have that support system, but just who you are. And through your progressions, what was your favorite stop? I mean, you went through a lot of different experiences, the different series, right? And then you wound up in Canada. What was your favorite?
I say hands down, it was the experience in Canada. Just the idea to be able to race outside of the country and just being able to see a whole new different culture with the fans, the series, how the drivers are, what tracks they run. It was just, it was really a fun time, and like the fans were absolutely friendly, they're awesome. They love racing, and, it's just an experience that I'll never forget. I mean, it's just, it may be a little ways from home, but it's just seeing how racing it is all around the world, was just something that I needed to take in and really enjoy every moment of it, because it wasn't gonna last long. But at least I could take what I learned from there, back to my home country.
So how did the crowds feel? How did it feel being in the car hearing the crowds, hearing the engines revving up for the first time, and knowing, like, wow, I'm here?
Yeah, I will say it kind of felt very surreal. Like, hey, I'm here, I'm in Canada, but these are the best Canadian drivers in the world. So, I'm with the big boys up here, so, I had to pull those belts up, pull those gloves down, and just be ready to work. And just the crowd, the fans, I mean, it wasn't like mega, but you could tell, you could almost feel it, like when we were ready to fire up those engines, like they were ready to see some good racing out there, that you could just feel their passion. I will say, like every time I'd be in a race, like we do like the pre-race ceremonies, right? And they would play their Canadian national anthem, but interestingly enough, they would also play the U.S. national anthem as well, knowing that I'm a U.S. driver. And so like, I don't know, like it kind of made me feel like they really welcomed me into the series, and so I just felt so appreciative of that. So it's just an experience that I'll never forget. Just everything about racing up in Canada was just awesome, spectacular.
Can you tell us a little bit about autism in your perspective, and what, how has it been for you? Some of the good, some of the bads.
Yeah, so I mean, autism from my perspective is a pretty unique disability that sometimes it can be misunderstood with a lot of people. I think like the only thing that makes autism misunderstood is that not a lot of people have been able to meet someone who has autism and be able to interact and just have that relationship and just understand what things that we go through on an everyday basis, with the challenges of trying to communicate, to try to socially react, what type of behaviors we've shown, all those combined, I kind of experienced those as a kid. But even at the time though, like I never really knew that I had autism. I kind of felt I was just this normal kid, but just kind of in a different way, because everybody in the world is different, based on who they are, but I never really knew that I had that, at least growing up through my childhood, so, there would be times where like I was very shy, didn't really want to talk really much, I kind of almost wanted to just be in my own shell, just be, by myself with not everything happening all in my surroundings to where, like I just all of a sudden, like, not sure what's going on, like just get me confused a little bit, but I think eventually, my parents, had to step in and tell me that, hey, I had autism. And immediately, everything that I experienced growing up as a child, like just through home, through school, it's what I needed. Because then I could think back to the experience that I had and find ways to where I can overcome them. That I don't have to be that same person as I was as a kid, that I can grow out of this, and even with a lot of help through, therapy, like occupational therapy, all different types of therapies. But, my parents really, helped teach me the basics of social interaction and communication, just for me to start off with something, and then eventually it became to a point to where, I can really start to be more open up of myself, that I can just come out of my own shell and just be able to show what type of person that I think I truly am, what my personality is, and so, it's just, I'm glad I was able to find that at an early age. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have been able to overcome the challenges that I was already going through. So, I'm very thankful of that. And, I just hope for millions of people in the autism community, that they're able to at least realize it sooner. So that way they have more opportunities to where they can overcome their challenges too.
Yes. And early intervention and early signs is key. Having the right support and doing what you're articulating, getting a chance to understand what you can overcome and giving you a chance to overcome. And you've overcome a lot in your life. And I think that's very, inspiring. There's, so many things people think come easy, but it's just, life is not easy all the time, but you seem like, with your amazing smile, your amazing energy, like you just got the right love, you got the right supports. And then it looks like you were able to find race cars to take you away. How fast have you been, and how does that make you feel when you're at that speed?
Yeah, thank you. It's a question I get a lot, but I would say I've gone at least almost 200 miles per hour.
Wow.
Something like that speed. And, how does it feel going at those speeds? Well, I will say that, your adrenaline's definitely are pumped up. It's exhilarating. I just think, if you just have that need for speed, you just love to go as fast as you possibly can, you don't normally think about it as much. So for me, it's just like, I don't care if I go 200, 210, 220, I'll go as fast as I possibly go. And because I believe that, I can handle just being on that ragged edge, just going as fast as I possibly can, because, that's just all I know. And so, for me, like, it doesn't bother me as much. I actually love the feeling of just wanting to go fast all the time.
In a race car, you're not by yourself. You have other cars around you going just as fast. Have you ever been in an accident?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in some accidents, but like, every race car driver is gonna say the same thing, like, it's just, a lot of times it's just, not even your own fault, like, things happen so fast, either in front of you or on the side or behind you, that, it's just, you try to react quickly so you can get through it, but, sometimes you just end up in somebody else's mess. And so, it's just part of racing, it's not something that every driver wants to go through, but, at the end of the day, you learn from, those types of experience. So that way, you can figure out how to better position yourself to, not be involved in those accidents. So, it's just all the part of racing, every driver has to go through it,
how did you respond? Because I know it can be scary, and I could imagine your parents were really scared too.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, to tell you the truth, they're always nervous. No matter how many races I run, they're always nervous because you just don't know what's gonna happen. Like the first day, no, thankfully I was okay and not
Right.
seriously injured in any of those
Correct.
accidents, so that's good.
I was gonna ask, like, that's what I was gonna tell us about your worst accident or your accident.
I say for me, it was kind of more recent. During Memorial Day weekend, I was racing in Charlotte in the trucks, and it was a night race, and like we were just struggling to try and start up the car. We made a pit stop, and I accidentally stalled it, and so it took us a while to try and refire the car. We actually had to go behind the walls just to get the thing refired, and so we get back out there. And the next thing you know, I look in my rearview mirror and it's like something smoking out the back. And I'm like, are we rubbing a tire here? Like, should the right rear or the left rear? I was like thinking, I was so nervous because I was afraid if we keep going here that, I might cut a tire down and I might lose control of the car. And so sure enough, I come out of turn 4 and, the thing starts to lose control and get sideways. And, it was a moment of that spin that I didn't need to happen because as I'm sliding, here's the inside of the pit wall where the tire barrels are, and then you have the outside of the pit wall where like all the crews are at. So it was basically a lose-lose situation for me, and I was doing all I could, at least in a miracle, if I could get the car straightened up and saved, like it would have been awesome. But unfortunately that didn't happen, and I ended up hitting the outside of the pit wall head on, and the unfortunate part was that it was concrete. And if you know anything about concrete walls, like once you hit it, they don't ever move, and so you will feel it the instant you hit it. And so it was definitely probably the hardest hit I've ever taken in my career. But because NASCAR has done a great job over the last couple decades of making the cars safer as well as the track safe, that thankfully I was able to walk away unscathed without any sort of injuries. And so that's the beauty of it. But boy,
Yeah.
what an experience that was. Like I'll never forget that.
Yeah, let's clap for that. Let's clap that you were able to walk away and be able to kind of see, another race. That's awesome. And you're right. NASCAR has done a really great job of taking care of their racers to assure the safety of anyone that jumps behind the wheel. I have a question for you. There's a new movie coming out, Gran Turismo, if I'm not saying it right. It's
Interesting.
It's about the race car driver that actually, learn how to drive during playing the video game.
Oh, really? Yeah, because like when you think of Gran Turismo, you think of the game. I used to play with that. I used to play that as a kid, and I do like watching movies a whole lot. So heck, I might go out and see that. I like to see what happens in that movie.
Yeah, you should check it out. I haven't seen it yet. I just thought it would maybe be a really great insight to just, I don't know, another movie to watch, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I will definitely check that out for sure.
We have a sponsor, and he talks about being in a race car. His name is Austin, and he kind of helps continuously spread the word about, kids with autism and just special needs coffee. Special needs coffee, again, as I, explained to you earlier, is a organization to try to help kids and adults have the normal life, be able just like Starbucks, they're coming in and working just like anyone else. And he's helping continuously promote that. And he talked about when he's in the car going not as fast as you, obviously, um, quite yet. How peaceful it is, how quiet it is. Do you find that same peace and same sanctuary when you're going that fast? Because I know for some it can be very scary. Does everything slow down and it's everything very calm and maybe like a little tranquil for you?
Yeah, I mean, at least for now, but it wasn't like that from the start. At least when like I started to learn how to drive on the road or highways, being a race car driver, I'm always going fast, and so you have your rules and limits on the road, like speed limits, traffic lights, everything, and so. It took me a little while to, at least calm my nerves down and understand that, not only do I have to protect myself, but everybody else around you. So, I mean, I will say it definitely wasn't as quiet or as peaceful from the start yet, but really with a lot of practice time, I was able to at least get the hang of it, and just be able to, cruise around and just go for a joyride like everybody else. And now at least everything today, I do feel like a sense of quiet and peaceful relaxation, and just going on a good drive to wherever my mind or my heart takes me. So I enjoy that aspect of it.
What are some of the next steps that you're trying to take? And I know NASCAR is your ultimate goal. So tell us how you think you will be able to get there.
Yeah, so for me right now, like, because like I'm dealing with school, like being a college student and all, like I do, the NASCAR thing part-time, so I'll run some selective races, for the moment. But I want to try to reach my goal as to being a full-time race car driver, where I get to race on a week in and week out basis. And I think it's important for me as far as my development, just having as many experiences as I possibly can and having as much seat time as I can, because I get to learn so much, and that can help me be a better race car driver if I'm able to consistently go out and race, week in and week out, and so that's something that I'm striving to do. What is it going to take to get there? Well, with racing, it can be a complicated sport because like everything's got to come together, as far as the support system, it's just finding people that like, get behind you and are willing to take a chance on you to see what you can really show. It just takes a whole lot to get everything binding together, and then from there, just being able to go out and just, be competitive and race at a high level, eventually, like I'm going to have to go out and show that I can compete for wins, possibly, win a championship. And, from there, I believe that'll help me continue throughout my development and just moving up the ladder and hopefully reach that ultimate goal, which is the NASCAR Cup Series. So, it's just being able to go out and race consistently. It's really what I need, and I just think it'll help me a lot.
Now, my question is, once you have that opportunity to race a lot, do you think you can beat Bubba Wallace?
Yeah, and I will say I do appreciate, what Bubba Wallace has done. I mean, you see where, he's gotten up to, and showing that it is possible, for me, not just being on autism, but just as an African American, that, it is possible. So I feel like if I can, get up there, I can definitely compete with Bubba Wallace for sure. I believe I can compete with anybody. I truly believe in my ability, in every opportunity that I'm able to show what I can do behind the wheel.
Yes, and I think that that's what we're trying to provide. I mean, there's not a lot of individuals with autism, and we need to show the world that it can be done. And Bubba and all of them, they have to watch out. They have to watch out because you're setting the tone for the next generation. And we want to see you out there on NASCAR. We want to see you out there representing for the next generation of kids with, autism. Just representing with some kids that maybe society has said that quote unquote they weren't going to do something like this, but with the right passion and the right support system, they can do anything. And I think that's why we want to continuously put you out there at the highest level, so that you can continuously, and I believe at the highest level, you will show the world how you can be out there and make right decisions. You can be fast, you can be safe, and most importantly, you can be a champion. And that's what we see in you, as a champion. You talk about college. I think that's very important. I'm so happy to hear that you're, striving for, that education. Can you share with us where you're going to school possibly and what you're studying? Because that is important as well.
Yeah, so right now I go to college at Oakland University, right here in Michigan in Rochester Hills. And I major in mechanical engineering. Like with race car driving, there's not like a required degree to do it. But for me, it just felt like mechanical engineering, it was just as close to, automobile or, automotive as you can get, So that's something that I wanted to strive for. And, to be honest with you, there's not a lot of race car drivers that really go to college. They graduate from high school and then they just move down to North Carolina to pursue a racing career. I think the challenge is that how long are you going to be able to do it? All of us young race car drivers want to do it for as long as we possibly can, like 20 or more years, but not everybody has that opportunity to, have that long career. And so, they can't figure out a plan B or a backup plan of what they're going to do next. So for me, I just felt that, it was important that, I try to, finish my education by going to college, just to pursue a degree, so that, when it does come time for me to, hang the helmet up and, move on to greater things, that, I could use that degree to, pursue more opportunities, to be able to show that, hey, I can do more than just race car driving, I can do other things. And so, that's why it was important to me.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. Because, you're right. No matter if you're whatever athlete you are, a race car driver, a football player, a basketball player, soccer player, you're going to have to hang it up at one point in time. And there is life after that. And education is really something very valuable into this process. So it's really great that, you have that and you're striving. And, with that, I'm hoping that you continuously have the opportunity to strive for NASCAR, because I believe you do belong there. The character, your story, you're everything that the world needs to know about how you can be successful with autism. Armani, do you have a girlfriend?
No, unfortunately, I do not yet. But I definitely someday I will have one for sure.
I think ultimately, a handsome guy like you, thought maybe you may have a girlfriend or something like that. That because you seem to just be such a handsome guy and such moving in a great direction. And sometimes that question is not asked to our kids with autism. So always, you're 23 years old. That would be a question that you would ask anyone. So I just want to make sure that, we're asking very similar questions that we'll ask, anyone that is talented and as awesome as you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's all right. Just for me, I'm not trying to rush it. I'm just trying to be a little patient, just wait for the right time, but try not to be too patient where it's just too late. But I believe eventually that will happen. I firmly believe that.
I agree with you as well. Can you share with us the importance to you why breaking the stigma is important to you?
Yeah, because I think I want to prove that, really, autism is a strength and not a weakness. That, like, regardless of what challenges that you have in life, we people with autism can contribute to society like everybody else in this world. You know, it's just, yes, there's the uncertainty of like what autism is and what exactly we can, be able to succeed in. But, really it has to start off with something that you love. Something's got to get our attention. It's got to be something that, we like to do on a daily basis. So when you can find that, you can be able to try and build off of that and be able to work hard to try and, take you to where you want to be. That there is something that you can grow up to be, So with me finding a passion with race car driving and knowing that that's something that I wanted to do, I just want to, I want to break the stigma to help show that, millions of people with autism can contribute to society in anything that they want to succeed at, and no matter what we're dealing with, that we can share this great world that we have around us, that we can contribute to society.
And I love that. And you're right. We can share the world. We can be, but it takes someone to break through to show the world what it is. And I think you are that. What you can provide for the world, what you can show the world, is so priceless. Trying to bring more, as you're saying, break the stigma. I've met so many individuals with autism that are so amazing, and their parents are so amazing. We're just waiting for the world to continuously be a little bit more saying, "Hey, let's share, let's open up a little bit," and that's what Special Needs Coffee is trying to do: is bring people like you, give them the spotlight. Hopefully, we can, as we're in California and you're in Michigan, we're, touching each other from all over the nation. And we're going to hear people from all over the nation. So hopefully someone hears this and continuously reaches out to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to bring this guy. He's already done everything. He's went to Canada. He's shown that he can compete with the best of the Canadians. Now let's see if given him the opportunity to be with some of the best teams," because it's, as I talk about Bubba Wallace, not just him, it's a team. It's under Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And it would be so amazing just to have a team bring you under their belt to continuously, show you how amazing, and put that on the platform. I just think it would be great. So I'm here to continuously promote our industry, because there's some diamonds in the roughs that we call them, that the world may not know about quite yet, but we do need to know more about and hear more about. And you're definitely one. You're definitely a gem, well-spoken, amazing smile. So I just think ultimately doing all the right things, by going to college, understanding that education is a value. And sometimes that's hard for our kids with autism because of just, some of the barriers. If you had one thing to say to help change the world right now about autism, I know you talked about breaking the stigma, but what were some things that we can do? Not just, you, but myself, others can do to kind of help individuals, so that the stigma can really be broken. Because putting you on the map is just that. I believe putting you on the map, and giving you a chance to be shown nationally. I think our world needs to see an Armani Williams out there. So tell me one thing that you would think that would be, besides maybe what I just said, but maybe something else that you're thinking about.
Yeah, that's a very good question. There's a million ways I can go with this, but I would just say, be able to get to know, families who may have a kid with autism, just be able to understand what they're going through. And I think more so, maybe try to understand some of the things they like, maybe some of the things they don't like. And maybe with some of the things they like, you can build that off towards something that, they can grow up to be. I think they just need to find something that will get their attention, that will catch their interest, that they would want to do it constantly. That's all they want to focus on. It's just that one thing because they love it, and just be able to try and build towards something like a dream. It's something that you want to succeed in, and, go for it, really. As long as you have the right support system around you, to people that believe in you, and that you believe in yourself, and you stay encouraged no matter what, because, there's always going to be a bump on the road somewhere. Nothing's ever easy, but it's how you persevere through it. It's how you battle through that adversity, right? And just simply just work hard at whatever it is that you love to do and you have a passion for, at whatever it's going to take to help you achieve your dream. And I feel like, when you can put that all together, that the possibilities are endless to, millions of people in the autism community, that they themselves can break the stigma as well. And there you have a vision to where, millions of people with autism can share the world to society in whatever they want to succeed in, whatever they want to contribute to society. And so, I think that's just the main thing, is just be able to, understand people who are dealing with autism, and just be able to understand, what things they like, so that you can try and see if you can build that off towards something to be able to help them accomplish what they want to accomplish.
I think that's so awesome, Armani, because you're right. Sometimes we trying to create something instead of trying to find something that they like. Instead of trying to put a basketball or a soccer ball or a football and take away the cars, your parents actually help you and your passion continue to promote the cars. Sometimes we take away those things and say, hey, no, here's a basketball, or here's a football, or here's this, or a soccer ball or whatnot. Your parents said, you know what, this is what's in his hands, this is what he seems to love and gravitate. How do we continuously expand on that? And I love that way of them taking your love and you continuously taking your love. And at 23 years old now, you're on the verge of NASCAR, because of that. And I think that's pretty inspiring. I use that word a lot today because you're very inspirational. For a person like me, I'm a professor. I've been in this industry for about 25 to 30 years. I don't want to age myself too much. I want to say I look just as young as you, Armani.
I see where you were going with that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So I feel like I've seen the evolution, and I see where it needs to go, and it needs to go in this direction, where we have individuals that are so talented to be able to put them on the best level that we can. We have an individual at Special Needs Coffee. His name is Juan. and he loves race car driving. And what you're doing is so inspiring. He's one of the few of our employees that actually drive to work. We do have maybe 3 or 4 employees that actually drive to work that actually have autism. Um, and it's very inspiring because the statistics don't show that. And the statistics say, okay, it's great just to drive, right? But what you're doing is saying we can do more than just drive. We can drive fast, professionally, and we can do whatever we desire to do. And I don't know. I just think for me, I just want to, thank you again for your time, you know, your talent, and sharing your talent with us today, and just and who you are. You're and really a great kid. You got so much potential. So I'm hoping that one day soon that you'll be able to call us back and say, you know what, I'm going to NASCAR. I can't wait for that to occur. And if there's anything that Special Needs Coffee can do to continue to support you in your endeavor, please don't hesitate. We are a company to support and help whatever growth we can in our community. We're looking for others to be able to inspire real stories, real stories. And you're a real story that the book has not been closed yet. It's still on the first couple of chapters. The one of the final chapters is probably you holding up 2 or 3 NASCAR cups. I believe that you will win a NASCAR 1 or 2 one day if given the opportunity. I see it in your heart. I see it in just your grind. Not too many people can go to NASCAR and drive and also go to college, as you eloquently articulated. So whatever we can do, Armani, please don't hesitate. I know we're in California and you're way out there in Michigan, but don't let the distance be that, because I believe we're one community at a time, just trying to change the stigma, as one step at a time, as we call it at Special Needs Coffee, one cup at a time. Do you drink coffee, Armani?
Yeah, lucky you guys. I do drink coffee pretty much every morning. I love coffee. So I just appreciate you guys sending me your product of coffee, and I'll definitely use it sometime for sure.
Okay, I want you to let us know, because Devin and Kaylin are definitely really are rocks at Special Needs Coffee right now. I wanted them to be able to meet you, you to meet them. They're very much a fan and very supportive. I want to thank Devin for being such a great advocate to talking to your dad. And we've been trying to get this interview for a while, and I'm so happy that we did, because I do believe it'll really impact the whole process. So I want to say, if I ever get a chance to meet your parents, I want to shake their hand for developing such a great young man. Really great job. And they can share their stories. Hopefully we can get them onto our podcast one day so that they can share their story on what it took for them to continuously just buy into the whole process and love you for what you wanted, not for what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. I do appreciate you all having me on here today. It was a perfect time. You all have been wonderful. And, really, I think if you ever get an opportunity, you definitely love my parents for sure. I mean, they've been through 23 years of my life, through thick and thin, through ups and downs. And I tell my dad all the time that, hey, you're part of what we're turning out to be, because there's many, parents that have contacted me on social media telling me how they have a kid with autism, and they're trying to find ways to where, they can see a way forward in life, like how can they overcome the challenges that we were able to overcome. And so, my dad has a part of this as well, so I just try to make sure that, I'm not the only one that was able to accomplish everything, but, so are my parents. It's just, you got to have great support, and it just starts out with parents. So I just been fortunate to have that. And it's something that, every kid should always want in their life. So, I just appreciate them for, everything they've done for me.
I know Kaylin and Devin wanted to ask you a question as well. Kaylin?
Absolutely.
As Larry mentioned, we have an associate named Juan, and he's super into racing, super into cars. And at the moment, he's working towards getting his license, and he's having a little bit of test anxiety. Devin is, our ABA therapist who helps all of our associates here.
Do you have any advice for people who are looking to get their driver's license? Any strategies that you utilized in the past?
For maybe some test anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, for me, it was kind of different because I was already driving race cars. And so transitioning to learning on the road was different. But, I mean, I think to me, I would just say, just learn the basics, with a car, I think I would just start off with like the three most important things, which is like, the gas, the brake, and, the steering wheel per se, just learning how those things work. And then I feel like, when you can learn how those three mechanisms work in a car, then I think like the rest will take care of itself. And then, it's just all up to you to just be able to have the patience and just to always understand that, you're not only trying to keep yourself safe on the road, but everybody else on the road as well. Just always try to be patient and just learn those three basic mechanisms and just, understand the feel and what it's going to do. And then I think you'll be fine from there. So that's all I could say.
Thanks. That's great advice. Thanks, Armani.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Other piece, I just want to thank you, Armani, again, for your time. I want to wish you luck. And please don't hesitate. If there's anything that we can do, we do have some connections. So what we're going to do is really, I'm hoping Bubba and the team really is honestly is listening, and other people that probably are listening that reach out to you and give you an opportunity. Because I think you deserve it. I really do. I think you're going to be amazing too if you get the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And once I got the opportunity, you can bet they'll make the most of it. All right. But I will say, like, this entire podcast, it's been a lot of fun, and I had a blast. So, I really appreciate you guys having me on here today.
Well, appreciate you too, man. Appreciate you too.
I do want to say, though, I do appreciate you guys sending me a few of your merchandise and stuff, like the shirt, your coffee bean product, and the teddy bear. I appreciate that. They're awesome.
Appreciate that.
Of course. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I will say
Okay.
you guys found the right person for that for sure. So you definitely found one for sure. So
yes, we're gonna try to keep you hyped up so that you can stay ready to go in those long cars, because those races are long. They're
definitely.
Short.
It could be anywhere between 200, 300 laps, sometimes more. So yeah, definitely need to get that coffee energy going for sure.
Right. You need your fix.
That's right.
Right.
Well, if you're ever in California, let us know, because we'll definitely race you at California Adventure and the cars race.
Yeah, and
Oh my
I
goodness.
hope you bring your Maserati with you because I want to check out that look.
Well, definitely
my
get the
gosh, we'll
Maserati,
have
pick
to
you up
bring
at the airport.
All
You
right.
know, definitely.